You would think making a lot of money would solve most financial problems. And honestly, that's what most people believe. They think the reason people struggle financially is simple, they just don't make enough. So naturally, the solution must be to earn more. And yes, income matters. A lot. But here's the part people don't talk about enough. There are people making $40,000 a year who are slowly building wealth. And there are people making $150,000, $250,000, even $500,000 a year who are still stressed, still in debt, and still living paycheck to paycheck. So what's going on? How can someone make a high income and still feel broke? That's what we're breaking down in this video. Because the truth is, high income and wealth are not the same thing. And if you don't understand that difference, it does not matter how much money you make, you can still stay stuck. Income is not wealth. Let's start with the biggest misunderstanding. A high income can make you look wealthy. It can help you rent a nicer apartment, drive a nicer car, wear nicer clothes, eat at better restaurants, and post a better looking life online. But wealth is not what people see. Wealth is what you keep. It's what you own. It's what you invest. It's what keeps growing even when you're not working. A lot of high earners have strong cash flow, but almost no real net worth. They've built a life that looks expensive, but underneath it, the whole thing is fragile. If the job disappeared, the whole lifestyle would collapse. That's not wealth. That's high-maintenance survival. And this is why a lot of high-income people still feel broke. They earn a lot, but they spend almost all of it trying to maintain an image, a standard, or a lifestyle they think they're supposed to have. Lifestyle inflation is destroying them. This is probably the biggest reason high earners stay broke. Lifestyle inflation. This is what happens when your income goes up and your spending rises right along with it. You get a raise, so now you upgrade the apartment. Then you upgrade the car. Then the furniture. Then the clothes. Then the vacations. Then the restaurants. Then the subscriptions. Then the small monthly payments that quietly pile up. And before you know it, your financial pressure is just as high as it was before. Except now, you need a much bigger paycheck to survive. That's the trap. A lot of people don't actually improve their financial life when they start making more money. They just make their life more expensive. And the crazy part is, it often happens gradually. Nobody wakes up and says, I want to build a lifestyle that traps me. It just happens little by little. A better income gives people permission to spend without thinking. And eventually they confuse increased spending with increased success. But those are not the same thing. They confuse status with wealth. A lot of high-income people are chasing status, not freedom. And status is expensive. Status says, drive the luxury car, live in the right area, wear the designer labels, go to the expensive dinner, book the nice trip, show people you're doing well. But wealth says something different. Wealth says, own assets, reduce debt, increase margin, buy time, protect peace, create options. The problem is that status gets attention, but wealth gets freedom. And a lot of people choose attention. They want the appearance of success more than the structure of success. So, they spend money on things that make them look rich, while ignoring the things that actually make people financially strong. That is why some of the most successful-looking people are secretly under serious financial pressure. Big income often creates big financial mistakes. When people start making more money, they often get more confident. But confidence without discipline can get expensive fast. A higher income gives people access to bigger mistakes. Now, instead of a small car payment, it's a massive one. Instead of basic credit card debt, it's premium lifestyle debt. Instead of a manageable apartment, it's a house they can barely afford. Instead of a normal vacation, it's luxury travel financed by future stress. The more you earn, the easier it becomes to justify bad decisions. People tell themselves, I work hard, I deserve this, I can afford the monthly payment, I'll make even more next year, it's an investment in my image, it's fine, I'll figure it out. And sometimes they do figure it out. But a lot of times, they don't. A high income can hide bad money habits for a while. That's what makes it dangerous. If someone with a low income makes poor financial decisions, the consequences show up quickly. But if someone with a high income makes poor decisions, they can keep the whole thing going for years before it catches up to them. They build their life around one paycheck, Another major reason high earners stay broke is because they become completely dependent on one income source. Usually it's a job. A good job, maybe even a great one. But still just one source. And then they build their entire lifestyle around it. The mortgage depends on it. The car depends on it. The school tuition depends on it. The vacations depend on it. The credit card payments depend on it. Everything depends on that one stream of income continuing exactly as planned. That is not financial strength. That is financial concentration risk. If one paycheck supports an entire high-cost lifestyle, then one disruption can create a serious problem. This is why true wealth usually includes assets and multiple forms of support: cash reserves, investments, business income, rental income, or at the very least, a lifestyle that leaves room to breathe. A lot of high-income people have no room. They have a big paycheck and no margin. They don't know their numbers. This is more common than people think. There are high earners who genuinely do not know how much they spend each month, how much interest they're paying, how much they owe, how much they save, or what their actual net worth is. They know they make good money, so they assume everything must be fine. But income can create a false sense of security. If you don't know your numbers, you are guessing. And when it comes to money, guessing is expensive. A person can make $200,000 a year and still have no clue where it all goes. That sounds insane until you realize how easy it is for money to disappear when everything is on autopay, expenses are scattered, credit cards are everywhere, and no one is actually paying attention. A lot of people do not have a money problem first. They have an awareness problem. And if you don't face the numbers honestly, you can stay stuck for years while making enough money to change your life. Debt gets normalized. High-income people often normalize debt because they can handle the payment. That phrase has ruined a lot of financial lives. Can I handle the payment? Is the wrong question. The better question is this making me stronger or weaker financially? Because just being able to make the payment does not mean it's smart. A lot of broke high earners are surviving on car loans, credit cards, HELOCs, personal loans, buy now, pay later payments, and expensive mortgages they stretched too far to get. From the outside, it looks impressive. From the inside, it feels tight. And the worst part is that debt steals flexibility. It reduces your ability to pivot. It reduces your peace. It reduces your options. It keeps your future income committed to past decisions. That's why a lot of people with high incomes still feel trapped. Because they are. They upgrade everything except their assets. This is one of the clearest signs someone is earning well, but not building wealth. Every part of their lifestyle gets upgraded, except the part that actually matters. The car gets upgraded. The phone gets upgraded. The house gets upgraded. The watch gets upgraded. The wardrobe gets upgraded. But the investments? Barely touched. The emergency fund? Too small. The retirement accounts? Underfunded. The brokerage account? Inconsistent. The actual asset building side of life? Neglected. That is how someone can earn more and still stay financially weak. Because wealth is built through ownership. Ownership of cash. Ownership of investments. Ownership of businesses. Ownership of assets that appreciate or generate income. If your whole life gets upgraded, but your assets do not, you are not really getting richer. You're just getting more expensive. So what should high-income people do instead? If you make good money and still feel broke, the solution is not shame. It's structure. First, figure out your real numbers. Know exactly what you make, what you spend, what you owe, what you own, and what your net worth actually is. Second, create margin. Margin is one of the most underrated forms of wealth. If you make $12,000 a month and spend $11,700, you are fragile. If you make $8,000 a month and spend $4,500, you are stronger than you look. Because margin gives you room to save, invest, recover, and breathe. Third, cap lifestyle inflation. You do not need every upgrade your income can justify. Just because you can afford something does not mean you should buy it. Fourth, automate wealth building. Make investing automatic. Make saving automatic. Make debt reduction automatic. Do not rely on motivation every month. And fifth, start measuring success differently. Success is not looking expensive, being busy, making people think you're winning, or proving something online. Real success is low stress, high ownership, strong cash reserves, growing assets, and freedom. That is what people actually want, even if they don't say it that way. The real goal is not a high income. This might sound strange in a video about money, but the goal is not just a high income. The real goal is a high-quality financial life. A life where money is organized. A life where assets are growing. A life where you are not trapped by debt, appearances, or pressure. A life where your income creates freedom instead of feeding a more expensive cage. That's the shift. Because high income without control is just a better-looking version of financial stress. But high income with discipline, that can change your entire future. So if you make good money but still feel behind, don't panic. That feeling is more common than people admit. But it does mean it's time to get honest. Because the good news is, once you spot the problem, you can fix it. You don't need to make $1 million more. You may just need to stop leaking the money you already make. And that can be the beginning of real wealth. This is Sovereign Finance. If you want more videos on money, wealth, credit, and financial freedom, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.